Director of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action for the great County of Essex. I'm also the Executive Director of the Economic Development Corporation of Essex County, and this is our annual fundraiser to supplement the revenues that we have coming in to support our microloan program.
What's the one or two things you want people to really know and gather from today's event?
Our primary purpose is to position small, women, and minority business owners to compete successfully for public contracts.
Welcome to the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course. And backed by popular demand, it's been a lot of demands and responses and requests on the YouTube, the internet, calls for this music industry 101 Part 3. My brother, HU, Mr. Anthony Hubbard, you know he's been doing it for 20 years in the game. He's my personal music industry insider. We let you know 2 years ago about the emergence of the 360 deal that's all over the place right now before even artists were even thinking about it. So we're going to talk about a few new things. We're going to talk about definitely how the internet has changed the game when it comes to, music purchases, CDs, DVDs, whatever you want to call it. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. My brother, Ann Hubbard. Always good to see you, boy.
Nah, a pleasure to be back, my brother. Pleasure.
#1 viewed show on the Urban Wall Street Project.
A blessing.
You got people and professors reaching out to me from other, territories internationally, utilizing the show in classrooms. I remember you forwarded something to me. So it's a beautiful situation. I had a gentleman reach out to me and said, man, I've seen stuff on the internet. I didn't even know I would find anything like this on the internet. So that lets me know something.
Right.
People are keeping that information that's valuable to themselves.
Right.
So we're providing a great service.
Right.
Maybe making some folks mad, but that's what we do.
Right.
But the one thing I want to talk about, the last time we were here, we talked about the emergence of the 360 deal. In the first part, we just kind of talked about a lot of different areas of the music industry and what people that want to get into this game need to know, because you've been doing it as a management and road management for over 20 years, and you've seen artists, different myths, misconceptions, and we want to clarify a lot, and I know we helped a lot of people. Now everything is digital, it's all about the downloads. The internet has completely changed a lot of game from TV and music. But I know without question, from when we started, the internet has impacted music incredibly. Right. So I just want to kind of talk about that, and then we'll segue to some other things that you think will be valuable. But let's talk about that. That's what we want to talk about first. This whole internet and music.
Well, just to touch on that topic, the basically the advent of computers and computer software took the music game full circle into the digital age. Back in the days when people were younger, trying to actually record an album, it was all about the reels, and you had to be able to buy the tape before you even think about actually going into the studio and actually recording a record, and then you actually had to have an engineer and all of that. And then as time evolved and as the music game evolved with the advent of computers, what happened is that that stuff went away. At the end of the day, you had the softwares where you could actually record, and people could tinker with stuff to the point where they could actually record their friends in their bathroom, get that same sound quality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then actually make some real good sounding records, whether it be to demo or rather actually nowadays put the records out themselves.
Right.
What the internet has done, or the digital age has done, is actually dried up revenue streams for major corporations in regards to one of the things that has dried up has been physical retail sales. When we grew up and we were younger, there were mom and pop stores where you could go and whether it be listen to vinyl or listen to a CD or whatever the case may be, those things are gone now. Where you see the large companies there isn't a Tower anymore. There isn't the Virgin Megastore anymore.
Right.
Those things are gone, and even more with that is a major revenue stream, because one of the things that we still have is first week sales, where people look at then actually try to determine the worth of an actual release. But back in the day, it was all physical sales. People walking into an actual retail store, actually purchasing the product and taking that product out and enjoying it.
Okay.
Where we are at now is that it's almost full circle, where the majority of sales are digital, whether they be single, whether they be album release, but the majority of sales for recorded music is now over the internet, for the most part, with the Apple Store, where people can buy the song that they want, or they can buy the album that they want. I know Google is also developing a similar system for people who want to actually, buy and download content, whether it be music or whether it be, film. So that's basically what it has done, is to drive the revenue streams in regards to like physical sales. So of course with that, there was a physical, just in regards to the artists, there was a physical sale in regards to like, what's the word I'm looking for? In regards to their residuals, their payments.
Okay.
So
Royalties, gotcha.
Royalties. That's a major part that has dried up. But also at the same token, the internet, the digital part has taken off. But in regards to cost, when
Right.
you walk into a store and you spend $16.99 on your online and you're spending $9.99.
Yeah, that's a big
it's
difference.
it's
I mean,
eight.
it's almost.
When you think about some people, like say for instance, one of the last great physical sales albums was probably Usher's Confessions,
Right.
with 10 million, right?
Right.
So you figure the difference in that, $8 per unit multiplied by 10 million, that's a lot of money.
That's an amazingly amount of money. That's an amazingly amount.
So at the end of the day, it's definitely boosted the creativity, because now that you have these young people, they feel that they can actually go, and once they learn the software, they can actually make a professional recording. So it
Right.
boosts creativity, but also at the same token, it takes away from that profit revenue generating machine that is known as, the music business, where you only, that's always been the beauty of the music business, that you didn't just have one check to look forward to.
Right.
You have multiple checks to look forward to, depending upon what it is that you did for that actual product.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So when you have those artists who were like, not only are they artists, but they're the producer and they're the writer.
Right.
They were getting all these big checks. And then, after a while, you wouldn't see them anymore because they're living off the money that those projects have generated. But at the end of the day, it's not that game anymore.
Right.
And even from it's also changed the music game in a sense in regards to branding.
Right. Let's talk about branding.
Because at the end of the day, it's just like, one of the things that I know, for instance, what hip hop artists do for the most part to actually keep themselves relevant is make what they call mixtapes. Now, the funny thing is that it's not a tape.
Right.
It's, at the end of the day, unless you download it and put it on something, it's not a CD. 9 times out of 10, it's just basically streamed MP3s that you actually put into your iPod or whatever device that you have to actually listen to at your leisure.
Right.
But it's used as a major form of branding, basically keeping their brands alive, because basically that's what these artists are. They're fully living brands, and they have to, and especially with where technology is, where once people know you, people are taking pictures of you, whether you be out eating with your mom and your girl and your kid, or if you're actually performing, you have to be cognizant of making sure that you are keeping your brand alive, and keeping your brand consistent.
Very much so. And you hear that, and there's certain artists, without giving any plugs to anybody, but I'm driving today, and in an hour, I heard this one artist on about 5 different songs.
Right.
So it seemed like, it's that artist's radio show.
Right.
But it's not, but it's like relevant, maybe just trying to be on a lot of different places and keep your brand out there, because I guess, it seemed like you can really... You
talking about Drake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, look, without even mentioning any names.
Right.
But actually, Drake and I'm not mad at my man Ricky Rose's, you see them in a lot of places, but it seemed like it's a certain camp. Like that Miami camp, that Young Money, that Maybach, thing, like I don't know if it's other places, but in New York, you hear. If I'm hearing a Rick Ross,
right.
I'm hearing a Drake,
right.
I'm hearing a Wayne,
right.
I'm hearing Nicki Minaj.
Right.
Then I think about New York, I'm like, man,
right.
who I don't hear anyone remotely as consistent, like,
right.
from...
Well, at the end of the day, the business models come from New York.
Right.
Whether people like it or not. And, and also at the same token, for me, someone who actually just watches, and learns from what it is that I watch, that I know that there's a difference between Rick Ross.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Rick Ross.
Rick Ross, pre-Puff, Rick Ross post-Puff. He's definitely...
Since Bad Boy Management, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So just in regards to him getting his stuff together, him putting himself in a position where he can actually have a brand that he wants to market and promote,
right.
which is Maybach Music Group.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Taking that, putting artists underneath that umbrella that are consistent with what it is that he wants to identify the brand with, and then marketing and promoting those artists and their records and moving forward. And also at the same time, doing what it is that people know about the Rick Ross brand.
Right. Now, that's something you said in that Rick Ross, because I'll think about that, you know, before he was doing this thing, I guess when he was battling with 50 or whatever, you know, he still had his brand. He was hot in Miami, you know, you heard him in New York. But definitely once he got under that bad boy management camp, it seemed like his whole brand exploded. Yeah. So when it comes to these new artists, you know, as an individual, like as somebody,
I think it became more focused.
He became more focused.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that the focus comes from recognizing the position that he's in as far as dealing with, you know, the management by Bad Boy and what that brand represents, and actually where it can actually take you?
I think that's part of it. But also I think another part of it is just the maturity factor, because at the end of the day, it's even just like dudes you know that on the street. Mm-hmm. The ones who actually take in what people say about them and what people are talking about and saying, those are the ones who are not doing well. Those are the ones who get caught up in what's going on in the street, and then the next thing you know, they locked up for however long. The ones who actually are focused, who have passion, who use that passion and that focus to take them where it is that they want to go, those are the ones who usually win. And he has a great example in Puff for that, because there's no one who was more hated, we both know that,
right.
than that young man when he was coming up with Bad Boy as young as he was,
right,
and doing what he was doing, and even more so than that, the positive things that he was manifesting from doing something. You know, it's incredible how much hate he had from basically living his own dream, and even more so than that, doing it legally. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You would think that Puff was like damn shit, like a cartel, like in charge of a cartel at some point, that he was like taking people down. But at the end of the day, all he did was take and make himself better and make his company better, and even more so than that, he employed a lot of people and made their lives and their family lives better. And so for that, he gets respect.
No question. And just, you know what, and it's funny that you say that, because I just think, just imagine what the game might be like if there was never a Bad Boy music.
Right.
Not to digress, but I could just imagine if there was no Puffy in this industry. It's, you know, it's something to think about.
It's funny because at the end of the day, what it is that we were talking earlier before we started recording about how I have a 16-year-old daughter, and you know, sometimes I'll sit around and I'll just sit around and ask her what it is that she likes, and you know, right now she likes J. Cole, and you know, and that's a Rock Nation, and that's, you know, helping to build Jay-Z's brand. But the funny thing is that they will never know, and they will never understand what Bad Boy was. Do you understand what I'm saying?
In this generation now.
Nah,
right.
Not at all.
How could they?
Because at the end of the day, it was a defining moment. It was a defining company in the cultural movement in regards to hip hop music, and you know, just, you know, the big Craig Mack. Just even when you, like, you know, when you went into parties and then you would be having a good time, you dancing, whatever the case may be, and then the Bad Boy Street Team would get to the party, and then you would just hear like this ghostly sound of Bad Boy.
Right. Forget about that.
So it's just like, and just even just what the street marketing game became in regards to, you know, people putting up poster boards, and people putting up flyers and attaching them to street posts, and that whole thing.
That whole,
it was
nobody
just
goes hard like that.
Because it's fines that came from it. But, you know, just in regards to, but just in regards to how it started, and that, you know, that focus and that passion, they don't have anything to look at or any type of experience to even know what that was like or what that was about. You know what I mean? And even more so than that, because of the ramifications of doing certain things like posting bills, a lot of people don't do that. But basically, the equivalent would be to do some type of digital marketing.
Right. So I'm glad you said it, because I'm about to segue into. So no longer can we post bills.
Right.
But when individuals were posting bills, and when, you know, in that era of the 90s, there was no, internet was a baby. So there was no social network. So now with the advent of all these different social networks, I mean, there's such a variety of ways that you can get your music out there. I mean, if you have 1,000 Facebook friends, 1,000 YouTube friends, 500 subscribers, and then you're connected to all these other individuals, you could almost start a digital campaign and create the same type of billboards, and as opposed to them being on physical buildings, they're on virtual walls all throughout the internet. Now, is that something that you think artists are doing? If they're not doing it, you think the industry is going that way, or record companies they're starting to think about that?
Yeah, definitely. Record companies are there just in regards to. I think like the music business went through an age where you had like old people who knew how to deal with the multiple revenue streams, how to run those companies with those amounts of money coming in. Because at the end of the day, the music business was always a business that was run off fat. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's just like I remember when I first started, somebody told me that at the end of the day, music business is a business that's run off fat. There's only really 5 artists that when they come out, they actually pay the bills for all their companies, whatever it is that they do. At the time that I was having the conversation, 2 of the people for Warner Brothers were Madonna and Prince. When they dropped, that was it.
Right.
It was a wrap. Like, all the bills was paid. Everybody was cool. You could schedule bonuses. No, just in regards to revenue streams. Like, just in regards to stuff that they did. Touring was one thing.
Right.
They did movies, which took the whole music and marketing of the product to a whole nother level. I mean, even more so than that, we talk about Bad Boy, but my daughter's generation will never know how New Jack City, the movie, was, how the soundtrack was, and how the multiple artists and what they lent to it, what the quality of the music was, how that actually permeated into the marketing of the movie, and how that even helped people who are icons in entertainment nowadays. Like, where would Chris Rock be without being Mookie?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, at the end of the day, it's just like, I think people are realizing that these things need each other in order to live, but the digital part of it is the part that is the most important to command and respect. Like, to get to those websites, to have the demographic of the artist that you're trying to market and promote. Like, I wouldn't put, a Rick Ross on a website, that doesn't cater to his demographic. I could have put him on a clothing website, although he's a dressing dude, but he's a big dude. Maybe I'll do it on a big man's well-dressed website. But at the end of the day, it's more so about World Star Hip Hop. It's more so about Vlad TV. It's about those websites that are known for dealing with hip hop music and promoting the things that are hot first. That's where you want your people and your artists to be when you deal with that kind of music. R&B can be different. If it's a female skewing R&B artist, you might want to put her on Nicole Bitchie because, she might have those chicks that, are her loyal followers that always go there, and they'll react. And they'll react once they see her. They'll react once they hear it on the radio. Like, basically at the end of the day, you want people to react. And at the end of the day, you want to place them in a position where people react to the fact that their brand is available once again.
No question. Now, looking at, where the music industry is, 2011, 2012, I always get people, hitting me up. They want me to listen to something. I said, listen, I got somebody. If we believe there's something there, he'll let you know. So with this whole digital game, what I think I find is individuals see the potential and the power that YouTube, Facebook, especially YouTube, can bring to them. But I don't think a lot of individuals still have caught up to where the game is. People are still thinking, I gotta put this demo together so I can get this record deal. And I'm like, you need to go back and look at the first 2 shows. Like, the record deal, the conventional record deal, as a lot of young people still aspire for, it doesn't exist anymore as it did maybe when Bad Boy first started. It's a whole different genre in the game. So right now, I reached out to me, 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid, they got their Mac and they're trying to put these beats together and they're trying to get this deal. What would you tell them, Ant, about how they need to go about this? Because they may be thinking about the industrial way we used to do it. Well, and now it's a whole new game, and a lot of people may not understand how to really capitalize on this digital arena.
I think where it is that, a lot of people, in regards to want to send you stuff and want you to listen to stuff and all of that. Same here with me. They are in what I consider to be the creative mode in regards to, because creativity for artists is passion and it's unwavering. I understand that. I get it. But you cannot move forward in music unless you understand the music of business. And I think that's why you've gotten the reaction in regards to the shows that we've done, because at the end of the day, people really need to understand the business of music. The business of music is always changing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The deal that you, like at the end of the day, the deal that somebody got 4 years ago will not be the deal that they'll be able to actually negotiate today, just because of the ever-changing landscape of music, the ever-changing landscape of the influence of digital music, the go away, the actual like phasing out of actual physical sales. Like, so that deal that you got 4 years ago can't be the same deal that you get today, because the marketplace is totally different. So you have to, negotiate based upon what is current as opposed to what was.
Right, right.
So at the end of the day, what I would tell that young brother or sister is that in order to actually do what it is that you want to do, it would behoove you not only to, get better with that software in order to make those sounds, in order to make it sound a certain way, but also at the same token, you have to, if this is really what you want to do, you have to look at it as a business, and you have to, in some way, shape, or form, get some acumen in regards to that business. It's just like saying, yo, I want to be on Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? I want to be on Wall Street. But okay, basically, we're all taught the same things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's how you actually take that information, take it in, and how you deal with it that makes you you. So what is it that you're going to do with the information that you're given? Like, at the end of the day, like the show that we did on 360 deals, you know what I'm saying? What would you take from that? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yourself. At the end of the day, would you look at it as an artist? Would you look at it from a producer's point of view? Would you look at it as even putting yourself in a position where you would actually have a record company where you actually distributed your stuff digitally?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How would you actually go about it? You ask 3 people that same question, you're going to get 3 different answers.
For sure. Now, because you've done this, and I think this young lady who's been reaching out to me and reaching out to you and waiting for this show, Miss Wynn, we got you. Management.
Right.
Because one thing to be an artist, the artist should have to just focus on the creativity. I mean, you want to definitely have the business skills, because if everybody knows how to run your business and you don't, you're going to lose. Now, you've done management, so it's definitely a different angle and direction that someone who decides, I want to represent and manage this group, they need to come from with regards to negotiating and maneuvering in this ever-changing music industry. So for someone who's interested in being a manager, how would you, from your experience and opinion, how would they need to flip and present themselves and represent the artist?
I think the best artists, artists are extremely business savvy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody, Jay-Z. I mean, that's an example, you know what I'm saying? But also at the same token, I have respect for Jay, I have respect for Puff, I have respect for T.I., I have respect for Usher, I have respect for Chris Brown from a business standpoint. I have respect for a lot of brothers out there, because I know that in their situation that everything that is done underneath the name of their brand is done with their consent. It's not somebody that's given and then they go and they take and then the checks come in. You know what I'm saying? Just in regards to the content that they develop. They're critical in regards to what it is that they make, in regards to the music that they make. Why is that? And why is that important? Because they understand what people want from them, so they can give them what they want. That's a business decision.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like making a product and, okay, you make this a certain cut. You know what I'm saying? You're making baggy jeans when people want straight legs. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's just like, if that's what you feel, then you have to go with the repercussions of making that decision as a businessman. All those people that I named totally understand that. And even in that situation, from the business model that they've actually taken and they've been successful with, they've been able to go on and do other things. Jay's been able to do everything from clothing to books to whatever the case may be. Usher has colognes, but also he's one of the minor owners of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes, sir.
Even with like the Will Smith, with the Philadelphia Sixers just being purchased recently, he's one of the minority owners of the actual club. So it's just like, I think that in today's music world, that the artist has to be an integral part of the successful business, and they need to understand and know that. And when they don't, that's when you usually have the problems, because there's certain things that are going on that they don't know and that they don't understand and they can't handle on their own. I think, a lot of people talk about, the situation between Jay and Dame, but, it's incredible that, to me, for somebody who dealt with his business for such a long period of time, that Jay was just able to actually pick up and take the business and keep it moving, and even kept it moving at a better rate.
Right.
And a more respected rate. So it's just like, at the end of the day, you have to. I don't think that you can, you know, back in the days you could separate the two, but in today's world you have to be a integral part of a team that is making critical decisions, and the artist is definitely part of it, because no one knows what people, to me, no one knows what people want from them more than the actual artist.
Now, you know, we do this and time flies by so fast. We have like 120 seconds. But I want you, this is very elementary for the people that missed it, and as you can answer this probably in 30 seconds. Because I think young kids, especially these teens coming up, they have misconception. They see the flash and the glamour and glitz in their cars, and they think checks are just flowing. Can you just generally this is 101, how many checks generally will an artist get annually? Oh. Just record sales.
No, just record sales?
Just record sales. You know, those royalties that come, because people think, you know, it's just popping.
Oh, no. From record sales, you would get two.
Two?
Because you get...
Two a year.
Two a year.
I understand
Two
that.
a year. And that's if you're good. Some people don't recoup.
Right.
So at the end of the day, what you're looking for is that advance to get you through, or to do live shows, you know what I'm saying? It really depends upon, once again, those business decisions that you make. It's just like, you know, you see certain artists, they made a business decision that they're going to tour. And actually on the road once their actual album drops. Some people are waiting for the demand of the album to actually dictate to them what kind of tour that they're going to have. All these are key business decisions in building their brands, and it can't be done in the absence of the artist in today's world. It's just unrealistic.
Real talk. Hub, you know, we do this. I love it, man. I know people are going to be clamoring. When's part 4 coming? I love it. Listen, my people out there, you know, I want to bring you the best. You know, you're trying to get into this music game. The game is ever changing. So don't just be an artist. You know, maximize your creativity and your artistry, but you definitely have to be a business person. It's called the music business, not the music, not the creative music game. It's the music business. The music might last, your song might be 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, but your business is 24 hours a day, 24/7. So be mindful of that. I want to thank my guest, Mr. Hubbard, for coming on the show. Hope you learned something. I hope you check out the first part, and then of course the 360 deal, because if you're stepping into for a deal, you better know the record company wants a little bit of everything you might potentially make in the future. As I always say, be mindful, be prosperous, get your head up, get your business and your mind correct, and hopefully you'll be all right. Until next time, peace.